El-Shaatbi tombs. To those men who exerted effort and sweat in order to save and develop the area of the ruins of El-Shaatbi tombs. They have all my greetings and gratitude. This cemetery was named after its location in the Shaatbi area in eastern Alexandria. The location is in Port Said Street, north of San Mark College, facing the sea, and its entrance is from Port Said Street. The cemetery is the oldest tomb of the eastern necropolis in Alexandria, as its establishment dates back to the late 4th and early 3rd centuries BC. It is a model of Hellenistic architecture in Alexandria, as it was designed in the style of the Greek house at that time. It consists of the entrance, then the open courtyard, then a front room and a back room. The cemetery was established as a private cemetery for a rich family. Then it turned after a period of time into a public cemetery, where many tombs were added, likely openings. The Shaatbi tomb was discovered in 1904 under the supervision of the Italian archaeologist Brescia. He was then director of the Greek and Roman Museum and was assisted on the ground by Mr. Brown, Mr. Fraser. At the time of discovery, a large number of Tanagra statues and many of the Hadra vessels, pots intended for placing the ashes of the dead after being burned, were found at the time of discovery, most of which were transferred to the Greco-Roman Museum. Description of the cemetery. First, the general site now after restoration development. Guidebook is now available on site. 1 ticket office, 2 entry door, 3 control room, 4 open museum, 5 visitor center, 6 auditoriums, 7 ladders, 8 tombs number. A main, 9 remains of the tombs of Hadra, 10 tombs B closed, 11 cemetery C closed, 12 cafeterias, 13 tombstones, 14 toilets, 15 gift house, 16 administration. Main cemetery, Shaatbi series of the Eastern Cemetery in Alexandria, and dates back to the beginning of the 3rd century BC. And this cemetery was a private hole rich in its beginning and then turned into a public cemetery where many tombs and different styles of burial were added. The tomb was discovered in 1904 under the supervision of the Italian archaeologist Brescia, director of the Greek and Roman Museum at the time, and the tomb was established on the Greek house system. As the drawing in our hands shows, number 1 is the entrance and is located on the northern side of the cemetery and leads to a rectangular hall heading from east to west, number 2, and this hall leads to room, number 8, where we find 4 openings for locally dug in the southern wall and 3 openings in the face has disappeared the northern wall completely and part of the western and eastern wall. Then we return to the hall, number 2, where it leads to another rectangular hall, number 3, and its walls are decorated with semi-columns, periodicals and colorful fake windows that are little left, and in this hall from the east there are 3 openings for locally at a height of approximately 2 meters, and below it there is a seat or a step of stone to reach it. On the western side, there is a room, number 9, with many openings, likely 8 holes on the right and 3 openings in the front and 5 openings on the left, and upon discovery found many utensils and funerary baggage and many statues of Tengara and bottles of perfume of Egyptian marble and some Greek porcelain were all transferred to the Greco-Roman Museum. This room, number 6, is characterized by the presence of 2 imaginary windows on the sides, one closed and the other open. Perhaps a statue was placed in it. Inside the room, there are 2 funerary beds oikos, which are 2 coffins carved into the rock in the form of beds, one perpendicular to the other at an angle of 90 degrees and carved with decorations representing the furnishings, and on each side 2 upper pillows, larger than the lower ones, as if to suggest the weight of the upper pillow. The ceiling of this room is vaulted and decorated with geometric motifs interspersed with beautiful mythological drawings. And in the left wall of the room there is a small opening of lakelli at a height of about 1 meter with a fragment of one human bone. Open-air museum. It includes tombstones and many parts of the remains of columns and capitals of columns of various kinds, which were transferred to the place from other sites. The most important display in this museum is the remains of the cemetery of Hadra, and it has been transferred to the site from its original place, and it is now a group of holes of the dead Lochley in the form of the letter U. There are 3 rows of Lochley at a height of 3 rows with a total of 3 times 3 equals 9 holes on each side in addition to 9 other openings in the face, and this is the remaining part of the Hadra cemetery and dates back on the date of its establishment approximately the same time period for the establishment of the tombs of the Eastern Cemetery, which was used by the Greeks. The open-air museum also has a commemorative plaque with many names in memory of those who lost their lives in order to support France in World War I. Also, on the southeastern side of the open museum, there is a road sign showing the distance between the Shachtbey Cemetery area and a place or village called Pandoitiki, 150 stadiums away. The ancient Greek stadium is about 157.7 meters equals 172.5 yards. And this painting dates back to the late 3rd century BC. It is displayed in a glass box.